We'd like to take you through the live case study 2 on the topic, Building a Sustainable D2C Brand. This is the second live case study today. And our moderator for this session is Ms. Apsara Chidambaram, Head of Partnerships, Shopify India. May we have her on the stage, please? Let's welcome her with a round of applause. Ms. Apsara Chidambaram. Ms. Apsara, in her current role, leads the mandate to build and grow Shopify's vast partnership ecosystem. Working with the partner network, her team's focus is to help Shopify's merchants grow with the mission to make commerce better for everyone. She has 2 decades of experience in the technology and media industries and has worked in sales, global marketing, product launches, and partnerships. Some of Apsara's previous organizations include Adobe, Twitter, and Lenovo, where she has spent time growing businesses, creating effective GTM strategies, global marketing campaigns, and building ecosystems for successful partnerships. Welcome, ma'am. We are happy having you with us here. Our panel members are Mr. Abhishek Agarwal, Senior Vice President, Supply Chain and Sourcing. Now, Mr. Abhishek is someone who believes in results, and is a results-oriented professional who sets direction and works with the team to consistently achieve high-reaching goals. His accomplishments and skills have been recognized through 8 You Can Make a Difference awards, and under the category Outstanding Employee and Team Recognition Awards, with a 6 Sigma Black Belt, a patent, and a global leadership assignment in Huhtamaki. Yes, come on, put your hands together. You can certainly do that. Huhtamaki, India, on leading a functional end-to-end SCM and sourcing organization, managing spends of 230 million euros, doing BPR, setting the strategic direction, hiring the right individuals, and setting clear responsibilities. Welcome, sir. Lovely having you with us. I would now like to invite our next panel member to please join us. Joining here on the stage with Mr. Abhishek Agarwal, Senior Vice President, Supply Chain and Sourcing, Bombay Shaving Company, is President FARI, Mr. Suryansh Jalan. May we have you with us on the stage, please? Suryansh is a dynamic business leader with an entrepreneurial mindset. As the president at FARI, he is responsible for setting the long-term vision, driving strategic partnerships, and ensuring success for FARI's customers globally. A seasoned supply chain expert with 6 Sigma certification by profession and a technologist at heart, Suryansh is passionate about solving challenges in the industry by leveraging new-age technologies. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us here today. And joining the panel is Mr. Puneet Jain, Head of Alliances and Partnerships, Vinculum. Let's welcome him with a round of applause. Puneet comes with 15 years of work experience in the digital commerce. He has worked with industry pioneers like India Plaza, formerly known as Fab Mall, Reliance Capital, and has been one of the founding members of many startups like Infobeam, Avenues, listed on NSE in 2016, Letsbuy.com, acquired by Flipkart in 2012, Cafe Gadgets. Having you with us is such a delight. Welcome on board. And I would now like to hand over the session to our moderator, Ms. Apsara. Over to you. Thank you. You may all take your seats, please. Sure, you can. You want some help with that? Thank you. Team? Maybe.
So I can see all of them. Thank you so much. Thank you, panelists, for being here today. As you know, we're talking about how to build a sustainable D2C brand. And with regards to that, I have a few questions for each of you. So we have about, I think, 35 minutes, and I have many questions. So let's get into it right away. So my first question is for you, Abhishek. How your journey really started at Bombay Shaving Company, what were the challenges you faced, and how Vinculum and Shopify actually helped you through this journey. If you can talk a little bit about your brand journey over the last few years.
So it's been an interesting journey, and I'd like to say on behalf of the founder, Shantanu Deshpande, the journey started in a small room. I think, in his words, maybe itna chota sa kopcha hoga, with 5 people over there. And as they added people, they added beanbags, they added space, and they grew. The company started off with a personalized 6-part shaving kit which still exists and is one of the fastest selling product for us. It's a personalized shaving razor with double-edged sword, double-edged blade. And they started off with a subscription service. But as they realized that the amount of amount of money that one can spend buying a 3,600 product is less. But through that product, they built loyal customers because the customers came back. And it was through our own website. We had our own website, we had Shopify. And then slowly we moved from there to marketplaces, to Amazon, to e-com. And then as of today, we are present across, we have our own website, which gets close to 4 to 5 lakh hits, roughly close to close to half a lakh kind of orders per month. Secondly, we are present across all the marketplaces. We are present across 35,000 retail stores. We just launched a laser clinic. We have our own salon. Plus, we have an active B2B and gifting business. So if you see, the journey has transcended from a small room now to a bigger office, to a large team, across products, across the spectrum. We just launched a women's brand called Bombay. So now we've got 2 brands focused on women's grooming. And again, all the insights came from the office. The women in the office said that the shaving razor looks nice, why not for us? And that's how it all started. So if you see the journey, it's been like, like log judte gaya, karwa banta gaya. I mean, that's again in the words of the founder. And today we are having 2 brands and across the entire spectrum. So the entire complexity one can imagine is all there, all exists within us.
Yeah, and I'm very impressed by the personalization and the relevance. Like if you look at the website, even yesterday, they have special Rakhi offers, right? Where you can actually personalize a message for your brother. So I think the journey has come a long way, like just from foundationally setting up to actually now moving into personalization and relevance of season.
Yes, and that's where, I joined the company 4 months back, and coming from an established Colgate Palmolive FMCG background where things take time to move, probably a year for something to change, and then moving to Huhtamaki where things are slightly faster, and coming to D2C where everything changes just now. It is like just quick, you have to do it. It's been very different experience, and that's where I realized, again, I'm not here and I'm saying about Vinculum, but I'm just saying what I saw about Vinculum was that it's a much more agile software than SAP. SAP is still suited for, the like Purane Zamana type of things. It's not that agile because master data management, things take time. There are always pros and cons to things. So if you have to do personalization, it's simple. There's a Shopify at the front end. At the back end, you have Vinculum. And that's the OMS software we have. And then we have Tally. So you have Tally, OMS, and at the front end stores, you have different softwares. They don't talk to each other, but in a way, we have made it agile by saying that when the customer places an order, and let's say you want your name to be printed on it, there's a ticker that comes on the Vinculum which says that engraving, and that ticker basically is a cusp for us to then get it personalized. We have a vendor who basically does the personalization, and then it comes back, and then we ship the order back to the customer. So that's how in today's world where customer wants personalization. If for Rakhi gifting, which is happening, we have next Thursday's Rakhi. A lot of orders come to a website for sisters who want to gift to their brothers gifts having personalized name written on the trimmer.
Yeah.
And it's a feeling of joy because customers write back to us saying, wow, I got this Rakhi, mera naam likha hai, meri behan ne mujhe diya hai. And many people take it abroad. So, but to do and manage on a scale of a 50,000 order per month, it's not easy if you don't have a software which helps you to support that.
That's true. That's true. I'm going to ask Suryansh the next question. How are D2C brands, optimizing on logistics in this very heavily competitive market? What is your view on this?
Absolutely. So first off, I'd like to thank Vinculum for hosting such an amazing event, and congrats on the fundraise that's about to be announced. D2C has exploded. It's already 1% of our overall spend. And that's going to grow even more. It's growing to 10% in the next 3 years. Already we had my co-panelists talk about the complexities that come with that. Imagine, going from that one Khopcha to now having multiple warehouses all across the country, having to deliver to the farthest pin codes that there is. And all of this while, baking in same day, next day, 2-hour, curbside, hot shot. There's a new word in the market every other quarter. And you want to do all this while ensuring that experience for the customer is consistent. The factor of trust is still there. So as you're scaling up, you tend to outsource to one logistics player, one 4PL. Let them manage everything. It's outsourced, it's not my problem, it's their problem. As you get bigger, you realize it's not their problem, it's your problem. And that's where, the complexity starts hitting you. What we've started seeing a lot of D2C brands now start leveraging as that scale is coming in is technologies that really unlock the potential. And we heard in Mr. Joshi's talk earlier on with ONDC, unlocks that potential for you to keep that standard experience, that standard trust factor, irrespective of who you're working with, which carrier, which third-party logistics player. Are you doing a same day, next day, are you delivering from your warehouse, from a micro-fulfillment center, from a RDC? Doesn't matter, the experience for the end consumer is the same. And that also, in fact, allows you to unlock new business models and, bring in offers for the consumer which were not there before. On top of that, technology has come a long way as well. So there's a lot of intelligence baked into it now. It's not just selecting or organizing, orchestrating the best carriers. It's using intelligence to tell you, okay, you should plan your dispatches in this particular way. You should route them in this particular way. Your returns or this particular customer is more liable to give you more RTOs or more returns. So, handle that in this particular way. So how do you use the machine learning and intelligence out there to then improve, the way you're handling complexity? Again, so that you can trust now the technology to standardize across multiple, avenues of carriers and supply chain models.
Absolutely, and you've hit upon the right point. I think now the industry has reached a point where it's no longer about, organizing and getting the basic job done, but more about using machine learning and taking it to the next level in terms of predictability and optimization, right? So Puneet, my next question would be for you. Yeah. If this dragonfly lets me ask you the question. What are the product gaps that D2C brands are facing right now, and how is Vinculum solving for those?
Thank you so much, Apsara. So I'll start in reverse. So D2C is solving, D2C brands are filling a lot of gaps. Of course, the solution existed, right? Solutions were there from the traditional brands. D2C brands are making dent on the traditional brands and making sure that they are filling that gap. Now come to the reverse section, wherein Vinculum, of course, from a solution standpoint, there are solutions existed in market. Typical problem, my earlier panelists, they talked about the listing part of it, or the standardization of the product information. Then they talked about fetching the order from different marketplaces, your web store, all coming at a single platform. The solution existed. It's not that this solution, all these solutions are disjointed one. No one is talking to each other. So from a partner standpoint, that's what Vinculum comes as a platform, which is an integrated platform, wherein all your ecosystem partners are coming integrated on the same platform, right? Starting from the gaps, probably the listing part, which is the D2C brands, as Abhishek was talking about. He started his journey from the marketplaces, right? He was selling on marketplaces. He had his own web store. The cataloging, the filling of that catalog from marketplace to your web store, that was a pain. It means you are handling it independently. You are uploading your catalog on marketplaces. You are uploading on web store. That's where Vinculum come in picture. You have done your exercise, doing it repeatedly. That's what we want to kill it. So there is a connector inbuilt. You upload your catalog wherever you have listed your catalog, be it Amazon, Flipkart, or any of these e-commerce platforms. Pull the catalog from there, inject it in your web store. So that's one of the key area we look at. The other area is your order management system and WMS part of it, which Abhishek was talking about. We fetch, so there are multiple avenues as the co-panelists and others, they were talking about. You need to be there where the customers are there. They are there on your website, they are there on your marketplaces, they are on your social media platform. That's where the integrated platform comes in pictures. We fill that gap through our technology platform.
Got it. Suryansh, in terms of speed, right, how do you keep this promise? What is your perspective on it?
I think today for all of us over here, including myself, we want everything and we want it now. And we want it on our terms. When does it get delivered? Where does it get delivered? How does it get delivered? And we want it for free, right? We want all of that for free. So that promise of experience of free, fast, and flexible delivery, that's actually now starting to impact purchasing behavior on the customer side. It's no more about what are you selling or at how much are you selling it. It's now also about how is it getting it to me, right? How many times did we have a bad experience with a marketplace or with a particular brand when it came to delivery and said, okay, I'm not going to order from there again. Maybe they had the best product, but you lost the LTV of the customer because of the experience. So I like to believe that all of the logistics professionals, all of the CIOs, digital transformation, they all become CEOs now. And not just because of the importance and this becoming a top line driver and a boardroom conversation, but because they're owning, they're the chief experience officer in a way. That's your first touch point the brand has with the customer is how it gets delivered. And that's what, Farai focuses on. Where does the free, fast, and flexible come in? 50% of your cost of that delivery is in the last mile.
Yeah.
It could be a package coming from China, through the ports, through trucks, RDCs, all across. But just that last mile is 50% of the cost. And you're not going to be able to do this by taking a faster service, right? I'll subscribe for DHL Air. I'll airship everything. That's not going to help. So what you need is, and what we help enterprises, retailers across the world, and we're currently present in 30 plus countries, doing close to 1 billion shipments on our platform every year. We help them by, integrating with OMSs and WMSs like Shopify, Vinculum, talking to their carriers, so we know what the order is, where is the inventory, who are the carriers, or what is the supply models available. And then we get in to actually help orchestrate that particular order is fulfilled in the best cost structure, in the most sustainable way, while ensuring that order-to-door journey for the end consumer is the most seamless experience that they can have.
So you spoke about, what was the third F? It was fast, flexible, and?
Free.
Free. Exactly. That's why I wanted you to say it.
I'll catch him after.
Yeah. So clearly there are some gaps that D2C brands are facing, right? It's not as smooth as we would like it to be. Do you want to talk a little bit, Suryansh, about the offerings that you have that you have to offer to these D2C brands that come under these 3 Fs?
That come under fast.
Yeah.
We're not free, but we are definitely fast and flexible.
Okay, good.
No, but on a serious note, I could see it in his eyes. I'm gonna.
I'm a procurement guy. If you're flexible, then you're free. Let's see that. Just joking. Sorry.
No worries. So I'll take a small example, right? We're talking about the Rakhi gifts, and I think it's a fantastic idea. I went online yesterday. I send those links out to, multiple sisters that I have. Hopefully one of them, pays heed to it. But what I would have really liked also at the end of it is for me to be able to select how I want it delivered to me by when. Maybe, I'm in Bangalore today and I'm going to be leaving for Delhi day after. I'm only going to order that to my Bangalore pin code if it's coming by tomorrow. Else I'm not going to order it. You see, so it's an amazing product, it's amazing value, but I just won't order it if I don't know when it's getting here. And that's the delivery promise that we talk about. And we have, the largest furniture retailer in the world. A lot of people moving in for housewarming, they want to invite people over, but they're just going to order from that person versus the competition based on if that couch reaches them before the housewarming.
That's very true. It's a good insight.
So these are some of the things, that we definitely look to work upon. And a large part of what we believe is also, and this is especially true for D2C brands, also true for omni-channel and online selling, which is essentially your app or your, the SMS or the email that you bring and how you engage with the customer. That's your new shop front. You don't have a mall. You don't have a shop over there. That is the entire, opportunity or shop front you have, not just to ensure a good experience on that delivery, which we definitely will do, but also help provide you a platform to upsell, cross-sell further, relevant products.
Exactly.
So we're working a lot on intelligence to help increase the basket size for brands. And then finally, of course, these are some of the cutting edge innovations that are required, but you still need the bread and butter, right? We talked about using intelligence to help you reduce your RTOs, to help plan your cost in the best way, to choose the best carriers, to help your returns process be seamless. Intelligence to tell you the inventory that's coming in so that you probably can manage your existing inventory in a better way. Those are some of the things that we've seen brands really leverage.
It's good to hear that you are looking at the last mile and beyond, right? The experience is also in the return. Absolutely. The experience is also, and that's what builds stickiness over time. And that really brings me to the next question, Abhishek, which is, when does the consumer experience end? Is that a rhetorical question, or do you feel it ends when you just send it out, or when does it end for you? What is your philosophy?
So it does not end. The experience continues. I mean, so the way it works is that you order a product on the website and you get the product. So getting it on time, like what he said, is important. And second is the opening experience, and then the after product effect, and then the touch point of the brand continuing with the consumer. So there's a little science behind that, the way a brand communicates with a consumer. If they are sending out emails, most of the emails go to a spam folder, right? How can we be intelligent enough to ensure that the mails we send to them do not go to a spam folder? And then he clicks through and again goes back to the site. So these are various ways and means to ensure that the customer is engaged, he comes back again and again. And again he comes back and buys something, and it results in a repeat experience which never ends.
So it's an infinite experience.
We would like it to be an infinite experience, because that's how you can reduce the CAC, the cost of acquisition, and that's how startups can become profitable.
Yeah. So the interesting thing in Shopify, we say that this world of commerce has infinite possibilities. Yeah. So there's no end game here. We continue to innovate and continue to move forward. Abhishek, I'm just going to stay with you and ask you, how is D2C making a dent in how traditional brands are thinking and approaching consumers online now? Through personalization, perhaps, hyper-personalization, localization. What is it that you are doing as a D2C brand that is making a Gillette think about something differently?
So we are one of the unique D2C brands where two big FMCG companies have invested, Colgate Palmolive and Reckitt Benckiser. And last week we got to know that Bombay Shaving has made Durex. We also run Durex and Infamil, their D2C brands. We run their D2C brands on our platform. Means we are the service provider for them. So India has become the largest D2C site for them globally. And the brand has grown by X number of times in last 6 months. So that's become a case study in Reckitt, that how we took their brands, because they were investors, they wanted us to take their D2C brands and scale it big. And we have added promotions, personalizations, we've added next day deliveries, we have added website, we've added digital marketing which they could not do, and that's where they felt that we could do it better. And the scale-up has seen, I mean, it has grown the fastest in the whole world. And it has surpassed UK, which was the biggest market for them on D2C. And India has become the largest market for Durex online. So that's just a testimony to what you're saying.
Yes.
And same thing now we're trying to do with Colgate Palmolive, how we can scale up their brands and how we can transfer the learnings from us back to traditional companies. Because the way we think, see, way in an FMCG company thinks is silos. Like you have D2C, you have e-com, you have modern trade, you have retail. So there are 4 different departments. And then you will also have supply chain, which is one, but supply chain will normally focus on the place where the efficiencies are. Means it's equates to less work. But in a supply chain in a D2C environment is very different. The complexity you have to handle is huge. Just to say 50,000 orders across pin codes in India, just on D2C I'm saying, which is less than 10% of our business. While Surya has explained it very simply, the challenging D2C supply chain is that today I don't know whether I can service this customer or not, because the pin codes, in India we have, I guess, I don't know how much pin codes, we have more than 50,000 pin codes.
And I'll just add one thing to that. We have addresses like near the ATM under the banyan tree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
So
you have more than a million, let's say, I'm just saying more than 500,000 pin codes. And I've got orders from a customer. I don't know whether I can service or not, because the courier guys will say that X number of pin codes are not serviceable. The customer has paid the money. It's not his problem. But the courier guy says it's not serviceable. मेरा problem नहीं है. अब किसका है वो मुझे figure out करना पड़ता है. So I'm just trying to give you a sense of complexity that every day it's a fight. How do we ensure that we deliver the product on time, in the right way, without being tampered, without the OTP being taken? And that's just 7% of, or less than 10% of my business. There are the other complexities that are there. So when you look at a traditional company, and traditional FMCG company versus a D2C omni-channel company, the complexity is magnified much more. And that's where we are looking to OMS software to help us solve. I would like to candidly say they're not there yet. I mean, they're halfway there. There are many improvements they need to do. But the response that we get from Vinculum is pretty good. That because everything has to be customized. For example, a very simple thing we want is that from the time the customer has placed the order to the time it has got shipped and it has reached the customer, can I know the entire lead time?
Yeah.
And can I know the entire cost? So that will then give me the cost of lead time and cost to serve. And that becomes a KPI for me. Because unless I don't have a KPI, how do I manage my team? How do I manage my 3PL? How do I manage my transporter? So that's a very simple example कि ये हमें Vinculum से चाहिए. And I guess that's what I'm going to talk to them offline after this.
Yeah. Puneet, any comments here?
So
Sure.
just wanted to add, he was talking about you talked about how are they making dent on the traditional brands. So one of the experience I have at least experienced, we talked offline, the knowledge what they are imparting, right? I never knew. So one of the discussion I attended, they said typically we do shave, right? Typically the shaving mechanism, we do shave before taking the bath. This is what I learned during one of the sessions where Bombay Shaving Company, they were explaining, guys, it's always reverse. You take a bath, your pores will open, do a shave then, right? You'll get an experience. So those are, of course, the Gillettes and the biggies, they were there from ages, right? Never shared this information. This is what I see coming from these D2C brands.
Amazing. And Abhishek, how do you see yourself operate versus marketplace? Like, how do you see I know this is a very large question. It can go very deep, but just a 2-minute summary from you.
So you're saying our website versus marketplace,
Yes,
right?
yes.
See, when you have your own website, the challenge lies about can you give next day delivery? Amazon gives same day delivery or next day delivery. But can we match it? Can we give that same experience to a customer? The question is, yes, you can, but there's a cost. And then the logistics that you have versus what Amazon has is different. For that, I have to then open up dark stores. I have to pay money to open the stores. I have to keep inventory. So that, if you see versus the marketplace, that's the fundamental experience. If I'm at a marketplace, then I can give next day. But then if you talk about Rakhi is personalized. how can I make personalization happen on Amazon? Because it's personalized. But then I have to make it happen the next day or same day, because Rakhi, let's say today is Rakhi and Subhay, sister wants to give something. How do I do it? So that's going to be a challenge which I have to figure out. We know a way, we know it's a journey, but obviously there will be a way for it, but it will take time. I know that. But that's where the fundamental difference, erupts between marketplace and D2C, where you can do personalization, but next day delivery, same day delivery becomes a challenge. Whereas marketplace is same day delivery or next day delivery.
Yeah, I agree with you. Suryansh, we're talking so much about packaging waste, about, eco-friendly practices. So what is it that D2C brands can do to sort of build better, sustainable practices?
I think customers are indeed getting increasingly conscious around sustainability. It is starting to influence buying behavior. The trend that we've seen globally is during COVID, suddenly everyone was running behind, how do we get it? How do we get it delivered? How do we get it delivered now? Now as things are cooling off on that front, not because everyone's figured it out, but the shift is coming now back towards sustainable deliveries. The good thing that we've seen is sustainable for the ecosystem many a times tends to be sustainable for the brand as well.
And is it profitable for you?
So that's where our focus is, how do we leverage technology to make it sustainable for the brand while helping the environment. And some examples of that I definitely like to take is, we talked about the delivery promise. Now, our outlook on delivery promise is not just, hey, this is the best way I can get it to you right now as soon as you click the button, and this is the cost against it, but it's also trying to nudge consumer behavior towards something which is a lot greener. A simple example is we all tend to order more during weekends when we're free, which means we all tend to have more deliveries on a Monday and a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and less on the remainder of the week, right? How can we help either consumers who are conscious feel happy that they're making the greener choice by making it visible and telling them the footprint they save, or using the costing in a way where we are able to schedule orders together and balance out the load across the week. That's one thing. Then once your order has been taken, when you're planning your dispatch, at that point of time, how do I plan your dispatch to route the package in the not necessarily always the shortest path, but the greenest path or the cheapest path, right?
What do you mean by greenest path?
So generally, it means how do I consolidate more packages on the same route while not impacting the customer promise.
Yeah.
And that's very complicated, especially if you have an omni-channel strategy and you're also shipping orders to a local shop and to the homes. And you add to that the dynamicity of someone ordering on and cancelling on the go, right? So we actually can manage that where you plan the shipment and they're out, and while they're out, someone cancelled an order, and you don't have to send a new person to go and get that cancelled order. That same carrier or that same vehicle can pick that back up. So that's some examples of the routing, really making it intelligent and more sustainable. And then finally, when you're engaging with the customer on tracking the shipment, when you're promoting their returns, obviously you're making it all paperless. But what you're also trying to do is again help reduce things like an RTO, because you're ensuring that the customer is at home. I talked about delivering a couch. I can't leave a couch by the doorstep. I need the person at home. So I need them to know I'm coming, and I need to make sure that they're there when it comes. And I also want to bring intelligence to help you sort through your returns, know what kind of, what is your recurring behavior that's causing more returns. Is it a particular, mispackaging happening in particular areas in your supply chain? Is it, handling problems with particular carriers? How do you use that intelligence to actually improve. And what you would have seen along all of these is not only are they helping you be green, they're all going to help you save cost.
Exactly. It
And
sounds
that's,
like that.
that's
yeah.
the most important philosophy that we believe in.
So you would say this is definitely a trend and something that's coming up as a priority.
Absolutely, and I'll just take an example of a customer that we are very proud of. Obviously, we work with not just large retailers, but we actually work with large logistics players, and that's why we have that ability to go deep and understand the complexity of supply chain. So DHL, massive, world's largest logistics player, uses our technology to help them improve their productivity and cut their footprint. We recently had another customer called Posty in Europe. They're a 400-year-old company, and they're fighting against Uber Eats. So you can imagine the challenge over there.
Yeah.
And they just became the first logistics company to sign up to not just the Paris Agreement on climate, but actually perfect zero in terms of emissions. So that entails a lot. It entails also changing their fleet, also changing the way they do their supply chain. And that doesn't happen without technology.
Absolutely. You got it bang on. What about Bombay Shaving Company? What are the eco-friendly practices that are happening in terms of packaging and shipping and all of that?
So for us, if you look at the packaging part, we are working towards using recycled carton board in our packages. That is one. And secondly, we're looking at how we can use PCR, or post-consumer recycle, in our tubes. So generally, post-consumer recycle today in packaging is limited because it tends to play with the product. So we are working with our tube partner to launch products which will have post-consumer recycle. That is one. And second, again, most of the packaging in the cosmetic industry, typically if you see the cosmetic industry, they use virgin board. While the virgin board can get recycled, that's no doubt, but then we are working actively with our packaging partners to see how we can move to 100% recycled board. So that's again a journey in progress for us, but that's on packaging. Secondly, if you look at logistics and transportation, we do work with aggregators, and when we work with aggregators, like what Suryansh gave an example, that's where they try to reduce the emission cost for us by consolidating shipments and then giving it in one particular load. So these are the two initiatives we are looking at to reduce the footprint on the climate.
Perfect. Just on this, in terms of optimizing costs and value chain, Puneet, do you want to talk a little bit about the Vinculum payment reconciliation tool? Because this seems to be one which is helping merchants with returns, reconciliations. Just talk a little bit about this and how it's useful.
Sure. So when reconciliation as a platform, clearly most of us, right, we have heard of a penny saved is penny earned, right? That's we have learned from ages. That's what we are hearing for. But I've just made an addition to it. A penny burned is a learning earned, right? You have learned a lot post burning that money, right? So that's that learning and experience put in place to ensure that you save few $1,000s for a brand. You're selling across different marketplaces, you're selling on your own web stores, right? When the scale is low, you don't bother about the leakages part of it. Typically, as of now, if you look at the leakages is in the tune of around 1 to 3% of the GMV, which is spread across different attributes, right? From the leakages, the typical leakages, if you look at, right, your shipping overcharges. So there are shipping charges below 500 grams. Of course, he can throw some more light on that. Below 500 grams, let's say X amount. The moment, if it is 550 grams, you will charge for 1 kg, right? While you packed it perfectly, you said it is 450 grams, but the logistic guy who comes and picks it up, he'll say, no boss, this is 550 grams. I'll charge you for 1 kg. So there are shipping overcharges. There are inventory missing. They ship the product, inventory never reached to the customer, it never came back to the vendor. Somewhere in between, you have an inventory mismatch, right? Then, of course, so once the inventory is missing, then you get to know that, guys, I shipped the product, right? It was damaged during the transit, I was supposed to get it claimed from the insurance company because I had the marine insurance. The reimbursement never came to me, and it was not showing in my books. It was a leakage. The moment I was about to receive that reimbursement, I don't know what was the payment cycle, the settlement cycle, right? There are different set of leakages which comes around. Apart from that, of course, the warehousing and other parts of it. This is still limited to the D2C when you are doing it only on your own web store, right? It at the moment you start selling on marketplaces. Marketplaces, at least D2C, they are not paying any commission to any of the third party, right? The moment there is a marketplace, there is a commission overcharge, right? During these big festival days, your Great India Festival, your Flipkart, the other festivals, right? They run a lot of events. Typically what they do is they reduce their own margins and ensure just to sweeten the deal for end customer. But the settlement doesn't happen the very same day, right? The settlement happens after a week. At the time of charging, they are charging you for the full amount. Even though this is not done intentionally, but that's a leakage, right? So there are almost around 15, 20 different parameters. What as a platform we track the leakages, we plug those gaps and ensure that you get what you want, you get all the money what you were supposed to receive in your accounts, right? By plugging those gaps from our end, from a platform standpoint. This is done on a regular basis. Last panel we talked about change of policies. The moment there are change in guidelines from a marketplaces, there are change of agreements with the logistic partners. All that is stitched in the platform to ensure that whenever there is a change, so right now they were charging 50 rupees for 500 grams. Now they will start charging 60, 65 rupees. That all are plugged in through the AI and ML platform built in at our system. That's how we are saving the cost for majority of the brands.
Perfect. Thank you for that explanation. I think I have just one last question for all of you, which is, so customer service expectations are high, multiple channels. How do you manage this? And I want to hear from each of you on your perspective on just managing customer expectations. Abhishek.
It's difficult. Managing customers is difficult, and with so many channels to handle, because ultimately, whatever they ask, they are right. And then you have to understand complexity in an omni-channel business is extremely high, because when you say customers, I'm also referring to stockists, to distributors, to Flipkart, to Amazon, the sellers over there. And then we have more than 140 SKUs and 800 kitting SKUs. So you can imagine the complexity. And then managing, very simple example of that is like when you make a kit, the MFD, the expiry date of the product which goes into the kit, the least expiry of that has to come outside the kit. So the expectation is that everything should be perfect. It does not when you handle a big volume. And that's where the difficulty comes, because with complexity, it is difficult. And that's where I would like to bring in again Vinculum here, is that the software has to undergo some changes. It has to make it more customizable so that the labels which get printed can get printed with all those elements which can help us to ensure that we avoid any issues or any issues in customer experience. So that's the expectation. To answer a question related to this summit, is what I'm trying to say is that while it's difficult, the software has to have the answer, and that answer we are looking through Vinculum. Like what example he just mentioned about Vinrico, honestly I did not knew about it. But when he was saying, it seemed to me like, boss, yahi to chahiye tha mere ko. I'm going to catch hold of him after this. Here, baith jate hai, chal. Let us understand, because we get so many returns. Stockist se गीला गत्ता आता है, कुछ चोरी हो गया. Flipkart से sticker stock आता है. It's a nightmare to manage returns. And how do you make money if you're having so many returns? How do you do reconciliation? And that too when you don't have an end-to-end software. Vinculum is a standalone software. It will not talk to Tally. But my billing and accounting is in Tally. So how do I manage the two? It's a nightmare. And that's where, if I have to touch on the experience, it's tough. But that's where, I guess that's why we all are here, right?
Right.
Here.
It's an evolving industry and we're all learning as we go.
Exactly.
Suryansh, any comments from you?
Wow, that was quite a stressful answer. No, but I know, I feel your pain.
That's the experience.
I feel your pain. I can take an answer from the side of as a consumer and as a service provider to retailers. I think the first and foremost thing is we need to give the consumers what they want, which is obvious. And by that I mean omni-channel is the only channel. And that as things scale, that means traditional retailers penetrating and going fast online. You have the Nikes of the world, largest apparel retailers arguably, who, for example, wanted to do 30% online by 2023. They did it by 2021, and now they're looking to do 50% by 2023. They're cutting their offline retailers from 40,000 down to 40. There's a reverse trend which will happen for purely online D2C as well, maybe in the future. So omni-channel is one strong thing, I feel. Second, I feel the expectations of the consumer, we touched a lot about it all through the call, right? All through the conversation. In terms of the delivery experience, the ordering experience, the returns experience. I think brands that get that right scale much faster. And then finally, I would say more from internally from a brand perspective, and I think Sagarwal was touching on this, you need to look at the ecosystem rather than looking at point solutions. So you need OMSs, WMSs, delivery services that are talking to each other, and you as a brand then have the visibility on what is your actual fulfillment cost. I think Mr. Agarwal also touched on it. Depending on the PIN codes, the carriers, the fulfillment, the returns, can you actually know what is your fulfillment cost? Can you know what are your click-through rates? How do you improve it? How do you reduce your RTOs? How do you reduce your returns? And most importantly, how do you improve your NPS at the end of the day? Right? And we've seen brands that adopt a lot of this strategy, work with technologies that talk to each other. They've actually seen, OTIF, on-time and full deliveries go up from 80 to 95%. They've seen NPS scores, on a scale of 5 go up from a 4.1 to somewhere around a 4.8. And all of that breeds loyalty, customer loyalty, and growth at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Thanks, Suryansh. Puneet?
The expectations, I believe it's already set, right? Being a customer, he has already shared his expectations. So one bit is, of course, the agility is the key, right? That's where, because from a customer lens, he wanted it yesterday, not today. You need to be really, really agile. Make sure that you deliver what you promise. Second bit is, you can't do everything on your own. So that's where the partner ecosystem comes in picture, right? So that there are masters. So logistic piece, I don't want to build it. Why do I need to reinvent? That's more of a collaborative approach what we work on, ensuring that that's the connected ecosystem we talked about, right? To ensuring he talked about the tele piece, so that the integration that needs to be built. So ensuring that it's a seamless flow of from the order till the invoicing and finally the payment going to your tele system, right? It should be a seamless journey. That's the collaborative approach what we work on and ensure that that's how we meet the customer expectations from standpoint.
Exactly. I'm just going to open it up for questions. Do we have 5 minutes? Okay, great. If anyone has any questions for the panelists.
Sent something on your WhatsApp, if you can just check. I got it from one of the panelists. Oh, okay.
How are startups building an ecosystem to support each other? I think we just touched upon it, right? So, and I think Puneet was the one who kind of summarized that. This is really about, all of us coming together as an ecosystem, using the strength of our partners, and solving to make things simple for the consumer, but it may be super complex at the back. But it has to be as simple for them in the front end.
No, and I think the key thing over there, and Mr. Joshi touched upon it in his keynote address as well, is specialists. The market is moving very fast. There are new demands coming in. By the time you build a solution, a monolithic solution, the market has moved.
Yeah.
So you need specialists, and I think the encouraging thing that I've seen in the Indian ecosystem, especially in the last several years, is players coming together. And creating that end-to-end ecosystem for brands, so that they don't have to suffer the challenge that he mentioned with Tally, that systems are not talking to each other.
Talking to each other. Yeah, exactly. Great. Yeah, there's a question there.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
It's maybe a generic question, because just understanding the business problem there. One is you're getting a good sale. Second time, you're also getting a bigger problem in terms of returns and reconciliation. So what, according to you, is the best, speed or process?
Who wants to take that?
Can you repeat it?
What, according to you, is important, speed or process? Because I find, because you're going hectic speed, somewhere there's a damage.
So let me take the question. We have all heard about Newton's third law, right? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, correct? So when you go with speed, there's bound to be a reaction. You may not notice the reaction. You notice it after some time. That's where process comes in. So the way when you transform your journey from an established player like a FMCG to a startup, you realize that in FMCG companies, the process comes first and speed comes later. But it's the vice versa in a startup. So your mind has to be tuned to say that, don't worry, everything will go all right. It's like, that Amir Khan wala thing. All is well. Honestly, it's like that. When you're going with speed, the reaction is going to come. We'll manage it. Because you cannot stop speed. If you stop speed, then you will not survive.
You'll not survive. Yeah, very well said. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, panelists. And we are available for any questions, in the other side. So thanks.
Thank you, Apsara.
And just to keep you all informed, we have a booth outside wherein we have Bombay Shaving Company displaying their products, so you can have a look at it. Once again, a big hand to all our panel members. Thank you, Ms. Apsara, for moderating the entire session. Thanks a lot. A big hand to Mr. Abhishek Agarwal, Mr. Suryansh Jalan, and Mr. Puneet Jain. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.